Today we'll see about the different techniques with which different acrylics are packed and processed to fabricate a complete denture. Okay. So first is compression mold technique, which is the most common technique. So you guys know the steps in the fabrication of a complete denture. Take a primary impression, secondary impression, jaw relation, trying stage, acrylization. Then we do the acrylization. This acrylization is the process which is divided into four parts: blasting, dewaxing, packing, and curing. That we will go through today. Okay. So steps in this is first of all preparation of the wax denture. Whatever the trial denture that you have made or the denture that you have tried in the patient is first prepared and waxed up. Okay. Then a split mold of it is prepared. Then the separating medium is applied, and then we do the packing. Packing is done by mixing the powder and liquid of denture based resin, and then this packed flask is cured. Okay. Then finishing and polishing is done after the denture is retrieved. Okay. So first we will see the parts of the flask. Okay. There are two types of flask. The flask which has three parts, or the flask which has four parts. Okay. So this is your flask with the three parts. Mainly it is this is the base of the flask, this is the body of the flask, and this is the lid of the flask. In four-part flask, the base also has a opening like a lid. Okay. Rest everything is same. This is clamp where we tighten the flask. So flasking can be of two types: two-port technique or three-port technique. Okay. We will see the three-port technique, and I'll just tell you what is the variant in the two-port technique and where do we separate that line. Okay. So in three-port technique, what happens is, first of all, we select a flask. Okay. You can see this is the type of flask. Then you will pour the one layer of plaster into the base of the flask. Over that, you will see the cast along with the trial denture, right? After this, the periphery of the flask is cleaned, okay, and it is made to the level of the rims, okay. Then occlusal plane is checked. If it's not tilted or something, cast should not be tilted. Retromolar area should be blocked in the undercuts. Okay, you can see this retromolar applied areas and this tuberosity areas. Okay, this can hinder while opening the flask while dewaxing. So you make the slopes with the plaster so that there's no undercut, right? And all this shaping to remove the undercut or the shapings to make the slopes around the cast is done with the plaster knife, or smoothing or finishing is done with the blade. Okay. So all this taper is provided, undercuts are removed, and we make sure that the after putting the base, the teeth should be almost 6 mm away from the top lip. Okay. After all this, after all the putting the body of the flask, we check if it's completely fitting. If it's completely fitting, we apply the separating medium on the plaster area and the stones, and not over the teeth. Okay. So this was the first mix and preparation or the settlement of the cast on the first mix. Okay. Second mix is poured over this trial denture and the cast till the level, till the occlusal or incisor level of the teeth. Okay, you can see in this picture, slightly the teeth are visible in the center. You can see a U-shaped arch of the teeth. Okay, this is your second pour. After this is said, you apply a separating medium on the second floor, on the second pour, but you do not apply a separating medium over the occlusal or the incisal surfaces which are visible, right? Then you do the third pour and you close the lid. Suppose while pouring the second pour, in the three pour technique, what we did was we poured the second pour till the occlusal surface or the incisal surface. Okay. What if you directly completely fill it over the teeth and then you close the lid? Okay. So there won't be a need of any third pour. Okay. So that is your two pour technique. Okay. Because you poured the plaster in only two steps, right? Then after closing the lid, the flask is put in the clamp under pressure. Okay. So this is your flasking of a trial denture. Now, after you have flasked it, you will dewax it and open it. For dewaxing, what you do is you put the flask, flask into the hot water where, for about 10 to 12 minutes in the boiling water, so that the wax inside, with what trial denture is made up of, it melts. Okay. After the wax is melted, you open the flask and you remove the melted wax. So there can be different problems that can occur while you open the flask for dewaxing. If undercuts are there, the flask might not open completely. Okay, that's why we were sloping down the plaster along the margins of the cast and below the retromolar pad area or the heels of the cast, so that heels of the cast don't engage with the second pour or the third pour, right? If it engages, if the undercuts are there, if you have not sloped the first pour, then heel of the cast might also break. Dentures can have blobs, kind of a small spherical blob kind of thing over the denture surface. That is generally done, that generally occurs when you don't paint or don't pour the second pour very nicely, and the second pour does not wet the trial denture everywhere. So what will happen is when you dewax, there will be holes or voids in the mold, the plaster mold. And when you pack the acrylic in that, the acrylic will go into that voids and there will be small blobs on the surface of the acrylic denture. Okay. So after you dewax, you apply again the separating medium before packing. Okay. So what is separating medium? Why separating medium applied? Because the resin must not contact the gypsum surface while you cure the denture with resin. Why? Why should not contact? There are a few reasons. First of all, to prevent the water from mold entering into the acrylic resin. This may affect the rate of polymerization. Okay, and also might result into the crazing of the denture. Okay. Another is to prevent monomer penetrating into the mold of material. Once the monomer penetrates the mold, the denture adheres to the plaster. Okay. So when you finally deflask it to retrieve the denture, it's very difficult. Okay. So various types of separating medium that has been used in previous time was tin foil, cellulose lacquer, calcium oilate, soft soaps were also sometimes used. Okay. But all this has been replaced now with sodium alginate solutions, uh, which you generally use nowadays. Okay, you might have not used tin foil and all this calcium sulfate and calcium oilate and all, but what you use today is your sodium alginate solution. Okay, this is the most popular separating medium and it is water soluble. Okay, composition is 2% sodium alginate in water with glycerin and alcohol, sodium phosphate, and other preservatives. So what are the precautions to be taken after applying the separating medium? So the waxes and oils remain on the mold surface will interfere with the action of separating medium. Okay. When you're applying the separating medium, you should see that there's no any wax or oils over the mold surface of the plaster before applying the separating medium. While you apply the separating medium, the mold should be warm, not hot. Okay, it should be warm so that whatever the uh, extra solubles are there in the separating medium that evaporates and leaves a thin layer, okay, of separating medium over the plaster. Avoid coating the teeth. You don't have to coat the teeth with separating medium while even flasking or while even packing. Okay. So how is it separating medium applied? It is applied using a brush, coating only the plaster surfaces and not the acrylic tip. Okay. One or two coats are generally applied depending upon the requirement. So after you have applied the separating medium, next step is packing of acrylic denture base into the mold. Okay. Denture base resin material. So it is supplied as powder and liquid. Liquid is your monomer, powder is your polymer. Generally, it is mixed in 3:1 by volume ratio or 2:1 by weight ratio, right? The ratio should be maintained. There should be no much, the monomer should not be too much or not be too less, okay? Or else there can be consequences. So what will happen if there's too much of monomer? Polymerization shrinkage will be more. Okay. Packing consistency would not be good when you will be when you'll be trying to pack it to the mold. It will be very thin, sticky. Okay. So you won't be able to handle it very easily. What if the monomer is too less? All the polymer won't be wetted by the monomer. So the mix will be too much of granular. Okay. So after you mix the powder and liquid, there are 5 stages of denture based resin which it goes through. As soon as you mix it, it is the stage 1, which is known as wet sand stage. In this, what happens is polymers gradually settles into the monomer, forming a fluid type of incoherent mass. Okay. So after this, after some time, what happens is monomer starts reacting with the polymer powder. Okay. And the mass becomes sticky. This is known as your sticky stage. Third stage is your dough or gel stage. Okay. What happens in this is as the monomer diffuses into the polymer, it becomes smooth and dough-like. Okay. At this stage, the mass does not adhere to the walls of the jar in which you are mixing it. Okay. So you can easily remove it and pack it. Okay. So dough or gel stage is the stage when you pack the mold with the denture based resin. Okay. It will look something like this. Okay. Fourth is your rubbery stage when the mix starts to harden. Okay. It's a rubber like non-plastic mass which cannot be molded now. Okay. So if you pack it at this stage, you won't be able to pack it correctly. Okay. Then last is your stiff stage. Okay. Okay. So packing is done at which stage? Dough stage. Not before that, that is a sticky stage, and not after that, that is your rubbery or stiff stage. Okay. So there is something known as trial closure that we do. Okay. In this, what we do is we cannot exactly know how much of the material we should put into the mold so that it is exactly for the dimension of the denture. Okay. So what we do is we put little bit extra material. We put a cellophane sheet over the cast. We put the denture based resin, mixed denture based resin into the mold, and we do a trial closure. So whatever the excess material is there, that comes out from the sides of the flask. We remove that material and then we remove the cellophane sheet and then we do the final closure with the material left inside the mold. Okay. And we do something known as curing. Before this curing, there is something known as bench curing. Bench curing is before going for the actual curing cycle of the denture-based resin, we put the flask for an hour, minimum hour and 1 hour or 2 hours to stay there so that the monomer with the monomer and the powder that we have mixed together, the monomer diffuses throughout the mass uniformly. Okay, so that when we start curing, curing is also uniform and there is no voids or bubbles, right? So what is bench curing? It is leaving the packed flask for 1 or 2 hours before final curing. So we'll do the final curing. Different manufacturers give different types of curing cycles according to the manufactured process, manufactured products of their own. The most common is it is kept, the flask is kept into the water, which whose temperature is about 60 to 70 degrees Celsius for 9 hours. This is known as long cycle. Another is short cycle, where what we do is we keep the flask at 65 degrees Celsius of water for 90 minutes, then boil the water for an hour. Okay, to go to make sure that the thicker portions are also cured. Okay, after this, the flask is removed or taken out from the boiling water, kept for cooling, and then later the denture is retrieved. The retrieving of denture is known as deflask because we are opening the flask and remove the denture. After this, the removed denture or the deflask denture or the retrieved denture is finished and polished. Okay. This was the conventional method that we use for the heat cure conventional acrylic denture resin base. Okay. So now the other method is injection molding. We had read another type of denture based resin, the flexible denture based resin that we have used. Okay, which was supplied into the cartridge form. That is from that material, the denture is fabricated by the method known as injection molding technique. Okay. So one cartridge is there with the material. A special type of flask is there in which we create a channel of pushing this material. Okay. So the cartridge is heated. After the material is softened, the material is pressed into the flask with a plunger. Right. Other method is your sprinkle on technique for the self-curing denture business. Okay, we had read about the conventional self-curing denture resin that you use commonly for your making of special trays or temporary denture resins, temporary denture bases. For that, we use self-curing denture resin with the sprinkle on technique. In this, what you do is separating medium is applied on the cast first, and powder and liquid is applied alternatively from the droppers. Okay, different parts we apply. We put the powder first, then we put a drop of the monomer liquid. Then another part adjacent to it, we put it more water, and then we put monomer. And one by one we put and we construct the base with the self-cure acrylic resin. Okay. Another is adapting technique. In this, what we do is we take the self-curing denture-based resin powder, we take the monomer, we mix it in the jar, we wait for the dough stage, and then we take it in the hand or with an instrument and spread it over the cast. Okay. So these were the different methods. Okay. Now we'll see about the defects in the denture. Okay. So what kind of defects can occur in the denture processing? These are the porosities, crazing, warpage, or fracture. Porosities can be internal or external. Okay, internal porosities will be the porosities that are well below the surface. Okay, not near the surface. Okay, This generally occurs in the thicker portion. Okay, if this curing cycle is not adequately followed or too much of uh, boiling of water was there. Okay, different scenarios. If you don't follow the curing cycle correctly, internal porosities can occur. Okay, external porosities is due to other porosities which occur near the surface of denture. Okay, it generally occurs due to the lack of homogeneity in the dough or lack of adequate pressure while clamping the flask. Okay, next is crazing. Crazings are the formation of surface cracks on the denture base level. Okay, uh, why it occurs is due to the incorporation of stress or water during processing. Okay, it can be prevented by proper use of separating mediums and using metal molds. Okay, if you can appreciate in this picture, here you can see small cracks. This is your crazing. Next is your denture warpage. Denture warpage is nothing but the change in shape or fit of the denture. Okay, it mainly occurs when you pack the dough in the rubbery stage. Okay, when the denture based resin has crossed the dough stage or is in very late dough stage, at that time when you pack it, it does not flow everywhere and the denture warpage can be seen. Okay, you can see that the edges are not good. Okay, the denture looks distorted with your denture warpage. Fracture mainly occurs while deflasking. Okay, or while polishing and finishing if you accidentally drop it. Okay, change in tooth position again while packing. If the tooth is moved from the mold, it's removed from the mold and you place it back and it's not put in the same position, then the change in tooth position can be seen in the final denture. Okay, so these were the different techniques and different defects that can occur while processing the denture. Okay.